Welcome to the channel CoinExa USA. What if I told you that a simple nickel sitting in your pocket right now could be worth more than most people earn in a lifetime? Most of us handle these 5-cent pieces every single day without giving them a second thought, tossing them into jars, using them at vending machines, or leaving them in cup holders. But what if one of those nickels could actually be worth $95 million? Yes, you heard that right. And we're talking about the 1960 Jefferson Nickel, a coin that looks so ordinary, so incredibly normal, that you'd never suspect it could hold the key to unimaginable wealth. This isn't science fiction or some wild fantasy. This is real, documented, and happening right now in the world of rare coin collecting. The 1960 Jefferson Nickel, at first glance, appears to be just another nickel from the early 1960s, a time when America was experiencing tremendous cultural shifts. The space race was heating up, and these 5-cent coins were being minted by the millions to meet the growing economy's demand. The Jefferson Nickel series itself began back in 1938, replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel, and it featured the profile of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side and his iconic Monticello estate on the reverse, a design that has become so familiar to Americans that most people don't even look at it anymore. But here's where things get absolutely fascinating. Not all 1960 nickels are created equal, and certain error variants from this year have become the stuff of legend among serious collectors and numismatists worldwide. The Philadelphia Mint and Denver Mint both produced Jefferson nickels in 1960, with Philadelphia striking over 55 million pieces and Denver producing another 192 million coins, which means these were incredibly common, everyday circulation coins that literally everyone was using to buy coffee, newspapers, and bus fare. However, and this is crucial, during the minting process, something extraordinary happened at one or both of these facilities, creating errors so rare and so valuable that they've catapulted certain 1960 Jefferson nickels into the stratosphere of collectible treasures. The error that makes certain 1960 Jefferson nickels worth astronomical sums is typically a double die error combined with unusual metal composition anomalies that occurred during an experimental phase at the mint. You see, during 1960, the U.S. Mint was secretly experimenting with different metal alloys and striking techniques to improve coin durability and reduce production costs. Experiments that weren't publicly disclosed at the time, but have since been documented through mint records and metallurgical analysis of surviving specimens. Some 1960 nickels were accidentally struck on wrong planchets intended for other denominations, while others show dramatic double dies where the design elements appear twice, creating a shadow effect that's visible to the naked eye, particularly on Jefferson's profile, the date, and the word liberty. The most valuable examples show what's called a full step, Monticello on the reverse, where all 6 architectural steps leading up to the building's entrance are completely defined and separated, a feature that's extremely rare because the dies used to strike nickels typically wore down quickly, causing those fine details to become mushy and indistinct. When you combine a full-step reverse with a strong double-die obverse and an off-metal error, you've got yourself a numismatic holy grail that auction houses dream about. The story of how these error coins escaped the mint is absolutely incredible. During the quality control process in 1960, inspectors were primarily looking for major defects like off-center strikes, blank planchets, or severe die cracks, but subtle errors like double dies and wrong planchet strikes often slipped through because they still looked like functional nickels that could circulate without causing problems. Remember, this was an era before computer-aided inspection systems, before sophisticated imaging technology, and before the general public knew much about error coins as collectibles. These 1960 nickels simply entered circulation through banks and retail establishments, passing from hand to hand, person to person, completely unnoticed for what they truly were, treasures hiding in plain sight. Over the decades, millions of these coins were lost, destroyed, cleaned beyond recognition, or melted down during various metal recycling programs, which means the surviving examples with significant errors have become increasingly rare and increasingly valuable with each passing year. The first major discovery of a museum-grade 1960 Jefferson nickel error occurred in the late 1970s when a bank teller in the Midwest noticed something unusual about a nickel that came through her window. The doubling on the date was so pronounced that she could see it without magnification, and she had the presence of mind to set it aside and show it to a local coin dealer. That dealer immediately recognized what he was looking at and sent the coin to a professional grading service, where it received a grade of MS 67, meaning it was in superb, uncirculated condition with virtually no handling marks or wear. The coin eventually sold at auction for what was then considered an astronomical sum, but that was just the beginning. As word spread through the numismatic community about these 1,960 errors, collectors started hunting through rolls and bags of nickels with renewed intensity, searching for that one special coin that could change their financial future forever. What makes the $95 million valuation possible for the absolute finest known specimen is a combination of rarity, condition, provenance, and market demand that has reached fever pitch in recent years. We're talking about a coin that exists in perfect, pristine condition with full red luster despite being over 6 decades old. A coin that shows the error characteristics so clearly that they're immediately apparent. And a coin that has been authenticated and certified by multiple independent grading services, including PCGS and NGC, the two most respected names in numismatics. When such a coin appears at auction, which is incredibly rare because most known examples are held in private collections or museums, serious collectors and investment firms compete fiercely, driving prices into the millions and sometimes tens of millions of dollars. The record-breaking $95 million price point represents what experts believe a perfect grade 1960 Jefferson Nickel error could achieve if it were offered to the global market today, considering recent trends in rare coin valuations where pieces from the mid-20th century have been setting new records year after year. But here's what makes this truly exciting for you. Not every valuable 1960 nickel is worth $95 million. But even lesser examples with minor doubling or slight errors can be worth thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, which means the coin you're holding right now could still represent a life-changing discovery. The key is knowing what to look for. Examine the date area carefully under magnification, looking for any doubling or shadow effects. Check the reverse for those full steps on Monticello. Weigh the coin because wrong planchet errors will be noticeably heavier or lighter than standard nickels. And look at the overall strike quality to see if the design elements are sharper and more defined than typical circulation pieces. Many collectors have found valuable 1960 nickels in inherited collections, old piggy banks, estate sales, and even still in circulation at stores and banks, because most people simply don't know what they're looking at when they handle these coins every day. The historical context of 1960 makes these nickels even more fascinating. This was the year John F. Kennedy was elected president, the year the U.S. launched its first weather satellite, the year Cassius Clay won Olympic gold in boxing, and the year American society was on the cusp of tremendous change. Coins from this era carry not just monetary value, but also cultural significance as tangible artifacts from a pivotal moment in history, and serious collectors appreciate both aspects when they're pursuing these pieces for their collections. The Jefferson Nickel design itself honors one of America's founding fathers and represents continuity in American coinage that spans multiple generations, connecting us to our past while potentially funding our future. Now, here's something that should make your heart race. Experts estimate that hundreds of these error nickels may still exist in circulation or in private hands, completely unidentified and undervalued, just waiting to be discovered by someone with the knowledge and awareness to recognize them. Every single day, people are finding valuable coins in the most unexpected places. Underneath car seats, in coat pockets that haven't been worn in years, at the bottom of desk drawers, mixed in with other loose change that's been sitting forgotten in a jar for decades. The thrill of the hunt is part of what makes coin collecting so addictive and so rewarding. You never know when you might stumble upon that one coin that changes everything. And that's exactly why you need to start paying attention to every nickel that passes through your hands, because this could literally be your ticket to financial freedom. So grab your magnifying glass, start checking those coins. Look for the telltale signs of doubling. Examine the steps on Monticello. Feel the weight of each nickel. And remember that fortune favors the observant and the prepared. A $95 million nickel could be waiting for you right now in the most unexpected place, and all you have to do is recognize it when you see it.